Good day and welcome to our program, The Church and the Poor. I am Father Hayden Augustine of the Missionaries of the Poor, and I have today some gentlemen from St. Paul, Minnesota, St. John Vianey Seminary. They are all seminarians. And on my left is Vince Fernandez and Mike Steffas and Reed Flood. And welcome to Jamaica. For many, Jamaica is a place of sun, sand, and reggae. But for these seminarians, they have listened to the call to follow Jesus as seminarians, as future priests, but also the call to come and see where Christ lives in the mean streets of Kingston, in the ghettos. Vince, you've been here twice or three times?
Yes, second time.
Second time. What drew you here the first time?
One of my seminarian brothers in my first year of seminary did Focus Ministries back in the United States, and he went on a mission trip with them, and so he invited us in his first year of seminary as well to come down here. And I, like you said, I thought it was going to be like a vacation, you know. I thought it was like, oh, help some poor people and then go to the beach or something, but
not this time.
No, it's not that.
Not that time either.
Yeah.
So what drew you back again?
For me, it was just a very formative time. I think one thing I just really grew in charity, and being able to love people that I didn't even know. And I think for me, when it came to the poor, it was, you know, I'll put money in the collection basket, or I'll give someone.
That's about it.
Yeah, 20 on as I walked through the street, but they're very separate. They were, I didn't want to touch them. That was the mentality. And when I came the first time, Scott really encouraged me to dive into it, and see them as Christ and see them as like my brother and sister. And one thing that's been huge is, being able to see them as, children of God, and see that they have as much human dignity as I do, and I'm just so blessed that I have, all these, this material wealth to live, an easy life, and they're suffering here, and to realize, like, just to love them, and that has helped me when I go back home, to love, other people as well that I don't know, that that maybe I don't like as much, or I try to stay away from, and see them also as brothers and sisters and like children of God, has been huge for me.
Very good, very good. Which diocese are you studying for?
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right, good. And Mike, where are you from?
From the Diocese of Grand Rapids in Michigan.
And what brought you to the seminary? How did you join the seminary?
Well, I guess it was a bit of a long process, but to keep it short, right after high school, I worked for 2 years, and I was selling baseball cards, which was something that I really enjoyed, but I didn't find meaning in it, and I was just searching for something deeper, something more, and I resisted asking God what He wanted because I was afraid that seminary would be the answer, but I couldn't come up with anything on my own, so eventually I asked God, and seminary kept coming up. So I was like, I have to make that next step and just see where it goes. And it's been the best decision of my life.
And then you've come further now to Jamaica.
Yes.
Wow. What brought you here?
Like Vince, we came down with Scott.
This is your second trip?
This
also?
is my second time also. Yeah. And this time, especially, I wanted to come just to experience the poor and feel their love again, because they're so good at loving us, and they're very non-judgmental, and you can just be yourself around them.
And how has the group been so far?
It's been great. We've had a really good time.
Where have you been? Which centers have you visited?
All of them. Yeah, I think we've all been to all of them, and we have one more day of work.
Right. And which, can you name a striking experience that you want to share with us?
I guess one of the most profound experiences for me is just working with the mentally handicapped, and just, I guess at first how challenging it was, just to see like how much they struggle every day, and like at first I just was felt really sorry for him and compassionate for him. Wanted to make him feel better. But as I thought about it more, like, these people, I mean, they are Christ for us, and they're so simple and loving, and this is a cross that they're bearing for this life, but they're going to get the reward in the next life.
Yes, yes.
So just kind of coming to that realization really helped me.
Reed, what's your experience so far?
My experience here in Jamaica, it's been pretty profound. Really, I think that just through seeing Christ, just in everything, seeing Christ through the people, the patients, the brothers especially, through my own seminarian brothers as well. This trip in particular has really let Christ's love shine through them, and you can really see it in the patients, particularly in their eyes. That's been really, really deep and very...
You've looked into their eyes.
Yes.
They've looked into yours.
Yeah, that's right, it's deep. But no, it's been really beautiful to see Christ's love really come out. And I see now why serving the poor has been such a joy for many saints.
It changes you, yeah.
Yeah, through many saints throughout history.
It changes you.
It's really
impacts you. You mentioned about the brothers. Tell us about the brothers' life at the monastery you're staying.
The brothers, they have really embraced all their vows full-heartedly. Especially, they're very, very strong in discipline. We heard a homily from Father recently talking about the lives of the brothers, and they're only allowed to, I believe, to own 2 to 3 articles of clothing for each thing, shirts, pants. They live very routine, structured lifestyles, but all in all, it's very simple lifestyles. It's prayer. It's hard work. It's not fun all the time, but it is very fulfilling. That's been one of the most extraordinary graces that I've been able to experience here.
Good. Vince, what about your experience with the brothers? As a seminarian, you live in community, isn't it? How does that compare with your life back in St. John Vianney?
I think the big thing is we live, I guess, a similar structured life, but the brothers feel like live it to like a perfection almost. I really wish that our seminary would follow more closely like the way the brothers live it in their fidelity.
How big is your seminary?
140 men.
Oh, it's a huge seminary.
Yeah, and I'm always just so inspired by the brothers and how they're able to, use their day to the fullest and really like give it to the Lord, and also just their, like Reed said, their simplicity. I remember my first trip here, I was talking to one of the brothers, and this is probably one of the most profound conversations of my life. But I was still a freshman in college, and I asked him, like, how are you guys so happy? Like, how are the residents so happy? How are the brothers so happy? Like, you have nothing. Like, you don't have anything, And this brother just told me, he was like, Vince, when all you have is Christ, all you need is Christ. And that just struck me to the core and made me realize, like, man, I am a fool, just trying to accumulate, I'm trying to live for the Lord, but I'm still, like, really, like, very worldly and very of this world. And the brothers really inspired me to really die to myself, to die to this world and, take up my cross and follow Christ.
I say yes, Lord. To the noonday I say yes. To the laughter I say yes, Lord. And to the tears I cry out yes. To my enemies, oh yes, Lord.
Oh Lord, I say yes.
And to my fellow men say yes.
Oh Lord.
To the dark night I say yes, Lord.
Oh Lord, I say
And
yes.
to the new day I say yes. Ooh, yes, yes, yes to life. Yes, I say yes, Lord. Yes to death. Oh, yes, yes, yes to the cross. Yes, oh Lord, to eternal life. Oh Lord, I say yes. Oh
has been your experience with the brothers and the life, the community life the brothers live?
Yeah, very similar to these guys. Just their simplicity and just their love for one another and for Christ. To be able to do this work day in and day out, it's been such a great witness, because it's, like they said, it's not easy work, but they're able to do it with so much joy and so much love, because everything's grounded in prayer. The brothers pray a lot. I mean, in the morning they wake up with Mass and then Holy Hour, and then later throughout the days they pray the Rosary, they pray the Liturgy hours. It's like there's always something. And just living with the brothers for this week, I mean, it makes sense how they're able to do it. It's because it's grounded in prayer, and Christ has been really their strength.
Reed, you mentioned about looking at the poor in their faces, in their eyes, and seeing Jesus. Pope Francis talks about that, when I think he hugged a man who was filled with like blotches on his skin. A few months ago, it went viral. Have you experienced that at all in seeing in the poor really the face of Christ? And
yes, day one. Really coming in, we went to the Bethlehem, the home.
Yes,
Bethlehem
for the babies.
Yes, and coming in there with the babies, then we also worked with some of the older men too in Bethlehem. And I came in and I would see men my age, and seeing them in this state of poverty, in this state of physical disability. And at first, it kind of takes you aback. As an American, I've never seen this before growing up. So it was very much a shock in some ways. But after overcoming that and through quick prayer, looking into their person's eyes, and when they see your eyes, then there's a connection being made. And additionally, whenever you shake hands, these men, they love to just be held, and they love to just be loved. And which is really Christ's biggest desire for us, is to love us and for us to be loved by Christ. So I think that through seeing this, Christ has really reached out and touched me in a way through my encounter with these brothers at Bethlehem.
You've brought a team of brothers with you. Maybe we can ask them to share some of their experiences. Who wants to start off? Anyone.
My name is Tony from the Diocese of Sioux Falls in South Dakota. And, a lot of profound experiences with working with the residents. But I think really just very, very influenced by the life of the brothers, like my brother seminarians have been saying. It's really easy for us to, put ourselves on a pedestal, because as seminarians, all the old ladies in the parish and everyone likes to spoil you. But I wish they could see the lives of these brothers, just because our life compared to the life of the brothers is just, a luxury. We have so much more like comfort and like Vince was saying, free time and just things like that, but the discipline that the brothers have in prayer and just they're totally embracing the Christ's cross, like the motto, so it's just been so inspiring for me, and very, very humbling, just like all of them were saying, the simplicity and the discipline that they all have to like living out their mission fully and living out those vows, and not slacking off one day, because if they slack off one day, they're missing seeing Christ in a person one day, and for them, they can't do that, and so that's just been so inspiring for me to see.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
I am Jared Wolf from the Diocese of Bismarck in North Dakota. And I guess there's two things that have really struck me in being here, and it's been said a lot, but I'll say it again. The brothers have really inspired me in their simplicity of their life, and how selfless their service is, and grounded in service of Christ in the poor. It's inspiring, the selflessness of it. And then secondly, in working with the poor at a lot of these centers, many of them their helplessness because of their disabilities, whether mental or physical. One experience in particular that brought this out, I was at the Faith Center, which is a center for disabled men, and I was helping them shave. And one man in particular had a tumor on the side of his face, and it was very large. But he still came to me. Like I had the razor and the cream. The brother handed them to me, and he was first one in line. He was ready to be shaved, and but his helplessness to even like a simple task that I take for granted every day that he needed help with. It's kind of like how we're helpless before God. We're all children of God, and that his cross that he bears is a sign of that for me. And when I get puffed up in pride, that before God, I'm just as helpless and just in need of His mercy and grace. So that experience of the poor has been a blessing.
Jared mentioned about that just a while ago, and the spiritual poverty that we are, and you've shared that to some extent. You want to speak a bit about that, Mike? The spiritual poverty that we have to confront in our own lives when we confront the material poverty of the poor. Has that occurred to you, across your mind or your reflections?
Yeah. I mean, just like they've said, living in America, I mean, we just take so many things for granted. I mean, I've been really reflecting the last few days on how ungrateful I've been for good health and good family, good friends. I've had so many great things in my life, but don't even really realize it. So there's so many little things that I've taken for granted, and there's just, especially in the developed countries, there's just a lot of spiritual poverty, where people, they seek possessions, and it's more about themselves than it is about others.
And you're never satisfied.
No,
you're never satisfied.
Exactly.
You always want more and more, and
there's always something better and bigger. So,
yes. Read the spiritual poverty you have to confront back at home. How has this experience shed light on that? Because I think it would, no? Isn't it?
Right. Well, I do live in a very consumeristic world, consumeristic country, and it constantly is sending me signals to always consume more and I'll be happy, do more and I'll be happy, seek for more self-gratification and I'll be happy. It's all about consuming, but in reality, the only thing that I need to consume for happiness is the Eucharist. And that's really stuck out to me, and the more that I try to accumulate for myself, the more I'm really just burying myself. Whereas if I really want to, truly as the motto of the brothers, to be joyful, I need to pick up my cross and follow Christ. That's where the ultimate joy lies, and I've really seen that joy come full circle in this mission trip in just these couple days.
Any more of our seminarians would like to share? Anyone?
Hi, I'm Kyle from the Archdiocese of Omaha in Nebraska. And today I was able to serve at Bethlehem House, where the children are. And there were two awesome experiences that will stay with me. I was able to, in the afternoon, I was helping this little boy, probably about 9 or 10, to get dressed. And so I had his shorts, and like I was holding him, and he was like climbing into him, so we got him on. But then I kind of looked up at him, and I paused a little bit, and then I asked, "How about a hug?" and he looked at me, and then all of a sudden he just like charged into me, and it was one of those moments that like my heart, was melted, and I know Christ was very present. And then another one, the same afternoon today, I was able to give some piggyback rides. I like doing that like with my cousins and my family when I visit them, and but this was almost better, because at the end everybody was like trying to hang on me, and then I just collapsed, and there was like a big dog pile, and there were about four little guys like climbing all over me, and it really reminded me of my family and how we are the family of God, and so I was very, very grateful for those experiences, and they'll remain with me.
Thanks, Kyle. When you go back, Vince, to the States, you would like to say something to your fellow seminarians who have not yet come on mission trips. What would you tell them?
I'd tell them to go, for sure. I think, especially in our world today, being with the poor and being able to see Christ in the poor and allowing ourselves to be Christ to others in the poor is such a essential aspect of the priesthood. And I remember I had a conversation with one guy, and he was like, we were talking about Pope Francis, and he kind of had an issue with, what's this whole thing about, caring for the poor? Like, we're going to be suburban priests, like, we're going to deal with the spiritually poor, and that's kind of our, our main avenue. So for us to, spend a huge chunk of time on, third world countries, like, that's kind of a waste of time. And I realized that, that kind of makes sense a little bit, but at the same time, we're called to be Jesus Christ, priests or not, and an aspect of Christ is his care for the poor, and to lack that aspect in our priesthood is to lack an aspect of Jesus Christ. And like I said, I just think it's so essential, and it really just opens your heart to charity and lets you see the gospel in a completely different way.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mike, what would you tell your colleagues back at St. John Vianney?
I'll also tell them to go, just because it really opens your eyes. I know my first time, I viewed the world in a different way after coming here, just because there's the poor. It really is the poorest of the poor. I mean, America, we have poor too, but it's not the same level of poor, and just to be able to love these people day in and day out, even if it is only for a week, like our trip, but it's just it changes your spirituality and your outlook on life. So I would recommend it to all of them.
Good, great. Reed?
Well, I would say that you should go. And just as Vince really persuaded me into going, because I originally did not have a desire to go to Jamaica. I did not have a desire to come here and to serve the men. But after sitting down at lunch and talking with Vince, just the line about when all you have is Christ, that's all you need. That's what really transformed me. And really, in a world today where we look so hard for love, that we profane, we twist things, we do what we can to acquire it. I just really think that here in Jamaica, the love here, it's raw, it's genuine, and it's in a boundless supply. And for anyone truly desiring to find the love, Jamaica and Kingston, it's a great place to look.
Well, Marley might have been right. We have been ministered to by the seminarians. I think America has a great future for the priesthood. Because you've really shared deeply from your faith, from your heart. You're not ashamed to call the name of Christ, and to share that with the wide world. I think we need a lot of that in our church. And we have been really, really happy to have you on our program, but even more so in our streets and in our centers with our poor people. And bring more seminarians again from St. Paul's next year, next mission trip, yes. We have been very happy to be with you again on the Church of the Poor, and we invite you to continue to serve us by sending more of your seminarians and more of your people to Jamaica and to Missionaries of the Poor. Thank you. Good day.
The people are looking for meaning. Their minds are just searching for truth. And in the heart of their struggles and worries, they seek out the heart of truth. And in the depths of their souls, they are reaching out, and they ask, where shall I go? And the voice deep inside, it's calling out, I'm longing to be with God. I am who I am. I am is calling you. I am who I am. Live in me, I live in you. We hunger for life and for meaning. This world, it will not satisfy. There is emptiness, nothing will fill our minds. We long for the truth of God. And in the depths of their souls they are calling out, and they ask, where shall I go? And the voice deep inside is crying out, we're longing to be with God.